Hello, I'm Mariana Danilovich with Hollywood Portfolio, and we're here at Digital Hollywood Spring 2012 with Olivier Delfosse from Fremantle Media. He's going to tell us a little bit more about what's going on with Fremantle and his initiatives at the company.
Sure. So Fremantle Media is a big independent television production company. We're global. We're based in the UK. We're best known for producing big shows like American Idol, The X Factor, America's Got Talent. The company has taken a much bigger position to move from being a traditional TV company to being more of an entertainment company. And a big part of that is broadening our scope of digital activities, so both in the gaming space, the original digital content space, and the application space. So a lot of what I work on for the company is developing our digital strategy, is taking our brands into the app space, doing social TV initiatives with companies like Twitter and Facebook. So some of the cool things that we worked on last year were Twitter voting for the X Factor, which is something that had never been done. So we really are looking to see how we marry companies like the big technology partners with kind of our mainstream, entertainment business to kind of come up with new revenue streams for the company.
So, what is Twitter vote? You want to explain that?
Sure. Yeah. So we do, for our main talent shows, we do all manner of voting, and we have done for years. We like to say that we taught the U.S. how to text through American Idol 10 years ago. And the interactive nature of a lot of our TV shows is something we're really proud of. We always look to add new elements that cater to either a different demographic or perhaps a younger demographic. And knowing that a lot of the viewers of the X Factor were very active on Twitter, we wanted to find a solution where we could actually activate those people in the voting sphere. So we worked directly with Twitter to actually come up with a method where you could actually vote via Twitter, which is something that had never been done in a TV show.
That's fascinating. How did you count the votes? How did you tally that?
So the way that we did it, and it's voting with these major shows is actually very complicated because it's it needs to be authenticated, it needs to be very secure. So we ended up doing the Twitter voting through the direct messaging platform that they have, which wasn't necessarily ideal because we initially wanted to do Twitter voting through kind of an open, open system where a tweet equals a vote. But unfortunately, a company could in theory scrape all that data, start to predict who was winning in the competitions, so we needed to come up with a different solution. We ended up coming up with something that was very valuable for the viewers at home and had enormous engagement, so we're really proud of it.
It's fascinating. I know that American Idol was the example. Idol was used on digital panels as a way to create interactivity surrounding television programming. It was the best example we had for years, and now you have this competitor, The Voice, which has like this whole back end tweeting and social networking and purchasing songs on iTunes, and you vote if you purchase the song, and you vote, you know, if you're trending on Facebook and Twitter now, that sort of counts because more people then purchase the song, more people vote. So there's somewhat of an ecosystem they created surrounding your idea, voting.
Well, what I would say is that we, all of us and our competitors are all pushing each other to do bigger and better things, and that's probably a good thing for the viewers and the users at home because they get more opportunity to have more interactivity in the shows that they love. I have a lot of respect for both NBC and Mark Burnett for the things that they've done for Voice, and I just say it keeps us on our toes. So.
It's interesting to see how it's evolved from where you started and where more Americans voted for American Idol one year than for one of our presidents, who shall remain nameless. But you started something, and what do you see developing since you have kind of your finger on the pulse of where this is going? What kind of it? And we're talking to some people who are developing interactivity from the games perspective inside television shows. Do you see that developing in any near future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, a big internal initiative is getting a broader understanding and implementing kind of social TV components to every TV show that we have, and that's easier to do for talent shows because there's baked in social activity around those shows, and everybody's talking about them already on social networks, and there's voting, there's all those kind of things. But for us, and what's interesting to me is how we do that for other programs like game shows. So in theory, you could start to implement a game show that has interactivity and social baked into it from the very beginning as opposed to added on, and that's, I think, the challenge that many content creators like us are dealing with now, and I think it creates a really interesting opportunity for making programming very modern.
It's interesting when I look at the formats in Cannes, which I'm sure you've been to many times, and formats have been huge in Europe, which is what American Idol and The Voice and all of these shows are. Their actual format that each country can then implement with their own panel of judges or mentors and so on. As we look at the formats in Europe, there has never really been a runaway games show format that I can think of. There are a lot of competitive formats where you have X many people coming into the overall competition, and then they somehow get eliminated to a winner. But like a pure game, like in terms of playing games.
I think so. Well, we've had some luck with some of our formats. So we own the Good Some Game Show library, which is 14 of the top 50 game shows of all time, and that includes games like Family Feud and Price is Right.
So they're more American shows.
They're American shows,
yeah.
But they have been formatted. So there are localized versions of Family Feud in probably 10 or 15 countries.
When did that start?
That's probably started over the past 5 years.
So kind of like the formats merged with our game show to create formatted games.
Yeah, you know, in France they have La Famille Dans un Hall or something like that. And then around the world they have in Mexico. Same goes with Price is Right. They have that in 10
That's a huge trend then.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's very valuable for a company like ours, which is building formats. We're able to take learnings from one place and just put it into another. It's much easier for talent formats, which for us travel all over the world.
Clearly, most countries have American Idol
or have their own version, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, game shows is working well for us, and we created an internal game show format that worked very well around the world, and we're finally bringing it to the U.S. It's called Take Me Out, and it's going to be on Fox premiering at the end of May. So that was a internally created game format out of France that did very well there, and then it did enormously well in Asia, in Indonesia, in Thailand, and it's probably been made in 8 or 9 countries and is now finally coming to the US.
It's nothing to do with people jumping on giant balls and
falling
into the water.
It's a funny kind of dating show.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to work.
Yeah,
that
really
sounds
great. Yeah, it's a really fun show.
That sounds great. Well, thank you for sharing these insights with us. I think that your company, in essence, was one of the pioneers in format programming, which is now taking over U.S. networks, both cable and broadcasting networks, and all of our devices. So congratulations on all of these wonderful concepts you brought to us.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.